Hello, this is Beta Ray Ben for Pixel Spank, and today I've got the most ludicrous thing I've ever come across. I'll just say what it is. It's Darth Vader, quite clearly. It's what's called a big figs. He doesn't even fit in the frame. He's massive, frankly. It's still. I've had this for a while now, and it's possibly the most ludicrous thing I've seen. Let's get it from its box, shall we? It's not really a box at this point. It's more just some cardboard. They clearly made it and thought, well, it needs something. If we send this off to shops, people won't think it's something you can buy. They'll think it's just a promotional thing. Alright, is that? Weirdly, it had two things at the bottom, and then just around a single ankle, a bit of twine holding it in, which is quite sturdy. It seems. Just take it off that way. Yeah, it was. Just literally a bit of string. Okay, right. Let's look at the box to start with. Let's pop him aside. I see what I'm even dealing with here. Yeah, so it's a Darth Vader, 31 inches. Just says big. It literally says big figs, and then underneath massive, which is some hilarious advertising. Apparently, it's only 20 quid, or it says RRP 50, and this was 20. That's a ridiculous deal, isn't it? All of this for 20 quid. This is the sort of thing where, from the right angle, you look at that and you wouldn't bat an eyelid at 200 or something, wouldn't you? I'm not saying it's of a high quality. I'm just saying just for the size alone. So there's not really a lot else on the box, other than on features. Here we go. 7 points of articulation. 31 inches tall. Real fabric cape. Are they 7 points of articulation? Okay, it sounds like they're going to list cool shit it does, and then they're like, it's big. Cape. Darth Vader is a terrifying union of man and machine hidden beneath black robes and forbidding armour. Determined to hunt down and extinguish the Rebel Alliance, Vader commands the massive Imperial fleet and rules his forces through unquestionable terror. Once this ominous figure was a young Jedi, spoilers, Jedi apprentice named Anakin Skywalker, who trained under Obi-Wan Kenobi to become a Jedi. Too impatient with his Jedi master and consumed with anger and aggression, Anakin chose a path that could only lead to the dark side. He emerged as the villainous Darth Vader. That one paragraph is both a terrible summary of all of Star Wars, but miraculously a spoiler for the entire series, which I don't know. I mean, everyone's seen Star Wars, obviously, but not everyone has at the same time. Anything fun on the bottom? Nope. It's made by Jakks Pacific, which I don't actually know. I don't know what that is. It's an American company, apparently. This is weird. It's post-Disney merger, because there's loads of Force Awakens stuff on the front. I say loads. There's a picture of Rey, and I think Poe... In fact, no, it's Rey, Poe, and Finn. The reason I didn't notice Finn is because they just stuck the price label over his face, which would actually increase the value of this in the Chinese market, wouldn't it? Right, let's... okay, right, let's... Wow, that's... He doesn't fit in the frame, does he? Right, does he stand? Okay, alright, his legs are posable, that's what it is. In fact, his legs are sort of posable. They're posable at the hip, but not the knee, which is sort of a crucial point to standing. It's kind of a bit Bambi-esque on the ice. All right, can he sit, in fact? No, because while they do pose, they only pose for about 30 degrees, not even the full 45. All right, so he's got a fabric cape, which is kind of nice, but also not at the same time. It's got a bit of a cheap dress-up feel to it. It's held on by a bit of chain around the neck, which I don't know if that's movie accurate or not. He's also got a skirt. Again, I don't remember if he has a skirt. I think, in my mind, the material of his cape is much thicker and then the material of what could be a skirt is thicker again than that. But in this, it's all one. Okay, let's pop that down. So hang on, it's got 7 points of articulation. It specifically said 7. Well, I found 2 so far. So this is the new game, isn't it? Oh, the arm moved. Was it meant to? The hand moved. Okay, so that's another 2. The hand moved, and this arm does move after a fashion, and the hand also moves. So that's 6. So I'm guessing the head. Yeah, okay, the head moves. Yeah, so I probably could have guessed that, really, shouldn't I? Right, let's put him in a pose, shall we? What? See, the trouble is, whilst the arm does move, the shoulder also moves with it, which is normally fine on a standard action figure. But because his arm is painted on, the whole shoulder component of it moves, which I'm not sure if it should or not. So yeah, you can make it look like he's force choking someone. Suddenly I feel like a ventriloquist, and it's wrong. He's got his other hand's in a fist, so that's nothing. I thought briefly he might be able to hold a lightsaber, but clearly he can't, for a number of reasons. One is that I don't have one to this scale, which, looking at it, it doesn't say it's actually to any kind of scale, and I'm guessing it isn't. Mainly because if you look at the lightsaber on his waist, that looks reasonable size to the body, doesn't it? It goes from like high up on his belt to just above the thigh, so I would estimate its length to be, for a real human, probably about that big, which is probably about right, isn't it? Maybe a little bit small. But the size of that compared to his hand, it would be like holding a wand. He'd have to hold it just like so daintily to not just be wrapping his hand around it. It don't quite work. But the lightsaber itself actually looks pretty good. I'm not entirely convinced it's Darth Vader's lightsaber, but I can't remember what that looks like, so it might as well be. It looks like a lightsaber, let's put it that way. In my head, every single lightsaber they made for Star Wars is different, and they just didn't give a shit at all about continuity. It's not true, I know, but I want to believe it. So the lightsaber's pretty good. The chest piece with the buttons on it, it's not bad. It feels like you want to push the buttons. They don't work, obviously, the switches. It's questionable why he even has those. Why would he want outside buttons and switches? It's like an obvious weak point. So it's not too bad. I'm not a big fan of the way the molded black plastic looks. I think that's probably the only issue, because the gauntlets have got a bit of gloss paint to them, but these, I don't think they're painted at all. I think it is just the colour of the plastic, so it doesn't look quite as good. The helmet's got the benefit that Darth Vader's helmet, like in the films, is clearly just shiny plastic, so it makes it really easy to do outside of films, doesn't it? And it is pretty good. The only thing is, the scale of his head's a bit wrong. He's got a bit of a pinhead. In fact, actually, yeah, now that I'm looking at it, it's just not quite right in a lot of the extremities. I think it's that the hands are a bit too big. The feet are actually tiny. If you look at the feet, like his foot is roughly the same length as his hand. So like that for a human, that's how long his foot would be, when normally a foot is about a foot long, which is more like that. So he's actually got quite slightly large hands and tiny feet. And by comparing the size of the feet to the head, he's also got a fairly small head. Given how involved this helmet affair is, and like you see when he takes it off, like he'd have a proper pinhead. He'd look like is it a Goomba from the Mario Brothers movie? That's a terrible reference to give. That's what he'd look like. The bit of silver on the armour there is pretty good. I'm now trying to think what Darth Vader looks like. Fortunately, they have included, I briefly thought they included a picture of him, but actually they haven't. They've included a picture of this. Have I even got a Darth Vader? I have. There's a Lego one over there. It's not going to do me much good to compare it to a Lego Vader, is it? How does the back look? Why am I looking at his arse? This feels wrong now. I'm looking up his skirt. There's not much going on back there. What if you take the cape and you actually drape it over one arm? Does that make it look cooler? No, not really. The good thing is the cape's not, it's not actually attached, I don't think. You could quite easily take it off. I don't know why you would do that. This is one of those things where if you go in a shop and you see this and it's available for £20, you can't not buy it, can you? Like, just the size of it, what it is, and the general novelty of it. I'd see that, I'd be like, yes, I'll have that. And then, like, immediately you think, what do I do with this? It's not big enough to like be a standalone thing in your house, because it's too short. It would have to be on the floor. And at the same time, it's kind of too big to have it like displayed on a table or something. Like, part of me wants to just have it stood here for the rest of the time, which I might actually do. That might be where it can reside. But it's just, it doesn't have a base. If it had like a square base, I feel like it would somehow be better, because then it would be really sturdy, and then you could like put the hand out and have it like hold something at the very least. It almost feels like the mould for this existed and it had a practical purpose. I don't know what that purpose would be, something dumb. And then that purpose died away. Like it used to be just a phone. Like you'd take the head off and go, hello? And then no one has landlines anymore. So then they kept the mould and they're like, bugger it, just make the thing. But it's such a humorous thing to me. I almost want to, and I've never seen this before. I've never ever seen this in a shop before. And the fact that it was for 20 quid, no less, that just seems a ridiculous price to me. They give an age range on this of 3+. I would like to go and buy as many of these as possible and just give them as gifts to people. It's kind of a white elephant, because the thing is, most people like Star Wars, so you could say, oh, you know, I know you like Star Wars, here, and you give them this, and they're like, the hell do I do with this? Because it would take up such an odd amount of space in someone's home. Not too much space. They wouldn't be able to throw it away. It's just, oh, what a thing. It's the most unusual item I feel I've ever. It's an oddly proportioned Darth Vader. Now the thing is, because he's like totally covered, you can't really tell to start with. You see it and you think it's not quite right, but you can't put your finger on why. If his head was exposed, if you could see his hands and feet, you'd immediately realise what it is. But because you can't, it's like you don't realise. It's one of those odd things, like those seemingly regular pictures, where the more you look at them, the more you realise none of the people have eyes, or like all their mouths are upside down. It's like there's something uncanny about it, but you can't tell what. But yeah, so that's the Darth Vader Big Figs. Even the name Big Figs is such a dumb one, because apart from anything else, figs is a euphemism for testicles. So it's like you're just saying big bollocks. It's and the fact that it says Big Figs massive, it makes me think there's more of them. And after you make Darth Vader, who would you make? Imagine having like, if I go and look this up and find out the whole set is like 50 of these, and they're just the most esoteric characters. Okay, I would take an R2-D2. I'd take probably a C-3PO. But I don't know if I'd want anyone else. Maybe a Yoda. I've had a bright idea. I have just noticed on the back of this, it says see all available figures at their website. I'm going to put a little additional piece on the end of this video going through that just to see the full range available. So I visited the Jakks website, and this is all they had. This single page spread featuring these 3 big figs, as they call them that. They're only 20 inch, not 31 inch, so they're not even the same size. They're quite a substantially different size, I would say, and they're from the film Solo. And it's an odd choice. They've gone for Han Solo, fair enough, Solo, makes sense. Chewbacca, that's a good one. Knock it out of the park. You're going to go for him. And then a Mud Trooper. Just a Mud Trooper. Not the iconic Stormtrooper or Death Trooper or, you know, really anything else from the film. They could have... If they only had the license to that, there's some big hitters in that film. They could have had Darth Maul. He was in there. Spoilers. They could have had... what's his name? Or Emphysema Nest or something like that. That was one. Rango, he was in there. Woody Harrelson, so, yeah. But no, so that's the 3 I've found from Solo. These aren't links, by the way. You can't click on this. They don't give you any more than this. I did a bit more digging, and I managed to find these series from Rogue One. There's this Death Trooper. There's a Stormtrooper, and then K2SO, which, to be fair, Rogue One, not known for its strong characters. If I had to guess, I would have said that the one I've got, Darth Vader, comes from Rogue One, as it's the only of the new films that even has Darth Vader in it. The thing throwing me off from that is the fact that this is different packaging and clearly says Rogue One on it. Now, I did manage to find a Rey, as in Daisy Ridley, from The Force Unleashed, which did have the exact same packaging as my one. However, it was a different size. It was only a 20-inch, like these ones, not a 31-inch, which is what these ones are. So it might have been from the same set, and maybe they made Darth Vader to scale. Who knows? But he wasn't in the film, so why would they? I've seen evidence of a Last Jedi set floating around, but again, they were all 20-inch, not 31-inch. Free shipping within Australia. Am I on an Australian website? It doesn't matter. So these are the only other 6 that I've really been able to find, and these are even the wrong size, but they do look of a similar style. The one thing I haven't been able to find really anywhere is the actual Darth Vader one I've got, like the same mold and the same box, which makes me think maybe the one I've got was reboxed, which would be unusual, or maybe they just really didn't make very many and couldn't be asked with the thing. I think they seem to be aimed at the 3 and up market, which is odd. It's the whole thing is very, very odd. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.